Bounce your shoulder, feel the vibe. I ain't stressing today. Yo. Bounce your shoulder, feel the vibe. I ain't stressing today. Yo. I ain't stressing today. Bounce.
Oh, it's all late. But peace, y'all. I wanted to give y'all an update on this week's planetary forecast. Just give me 1 second so I can pull up my presentation. But how y'all feeling this week? I just want to say y'all what the planets was doing all week long, and y'all can make y'all compare and contrast as you wish. Let me know in the chat if y'all hear me all right. I did do a little sound check, but I'm in a different space right now. But yeah, here goes the planetary forecast with Sunshine Moon AL. Again, giving you guys a brief update. For those of you guys who don't know, I do natal chart readings. If you guys are interested, a natal chart is just the planetary placements when one was born. You know, living beings have an electromagnetic field, and that includes the terrors of the earth. All living things have their own electromagnetic field. So natal placements are the result of how one spent their life, what they learned or still need to learn. You know, your tropical chart, which is the Western chart, that's your mindset, who you think you are. Your sidereal chart is your emotional chart, that's your heart set, how you feel you are. And then you get into your nakshatras, which is, you know, your behaviors and certain events in your life. And then the draconian chart is actually your soul desires. Your draconian chart gets into your past lives and how your past life affects your current tropical and sidereal and nakshatra chart. With the tropical chart, you're dealing with the zodiacs, the 360 degrees and the 30 degrees per each zodiac. When you're dealing with the sidereal or the Vedic chart, you're dealing with constellations. And then when you're dealing with the nakshatras, you're dealing with the actual star. Here at Let's Nobodies, we deal with, you know, all of those charts when I do your natal readings on your personal, when I do energy awareness workshops at events. So if you guys have an event coming up, call your girl. I do group workshops like this, teaching people about their natal charts in a group setting. Also team building, temple building, village building. It's important to know the energy, the natal charts of the people that you are around, the energy that you are around and how they will contribute, trigger, you know, enlighten, influence, motivate, etc., one another, and come together as a whole. In addition to that, here at, you know, the planetary forecast, we go over the tropical as well as the Vedic, and we even get into not necessarily the actual nakshatra type name of each star that certain planets, you know, align with or conjunct or minimal angle, etc., but we do get into the energy of some of those stars as far as, you know, knowing, you know, what star or planet is nearby. So those are some services that you can guys hit me up from. Here we also align those planetary placements in the zodiacs with the chakra centers. All living beings also have chakra centers. Chakra actually means wheel or circle of life, and they're actually connected to your main energy centers of your body. Or deities, orishas, colors, frequencies, sounds, zodiacs, animals, herbs, all living elements of this universe, the last and the next. And the flow of energy in a chakra is called a Shakti. Brahmins or supreme energy is responsible for the release and function of one Shakti. And the mystic aim is to take the coiled energy at the root chakra, which is your Kundalini, and release it onto the Brahmins' unconscious energy. So basically, if you're into the nether roots, it's going from sphere 10 to sphere 0. We're infinite beings in the physical form. So every physical element on your body has a chakra. You have infinite chakras, but here we focus on the main 7. You know, these are just some alignments to show you how the Kabbalah aligns with the nether roots and it aligns with the planets when we're dealing with, you know, the chakras, the 10 sphere of life, you know, the planets and all that. This is just like nice diagrams. And also, if you come to me for a natal reading, you get a nice slide with these visuals on there for you to utilize, you know, to your liking. All I ask is that you don't post these online as your own personal marketing material, as they are a part of your personal, you know, natal chart reading, etc., etc. Anyway, Here we get into reminding you guys that I do place the planets into the chakras, and every chakra that you have has a masculine and feminine side. All living beings have a masculine and feminine side. So when we get into the feminine side of your chakras, from the root chakra, you start at Aquarius, then Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. Those are all feminine sides of those chakras. Then we get into the masculine side of those chakras. We're dealing with Capricorn, Scorpio, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Libra, Virgo, and Leo. Also go off to the side where you can get the proper names for the chakras, the planet that rules these chakras, and the energy. And then also you can play around. Also, if you're into geometry and numerology, which is something that I'll start applying as well to the planetary readings. But you can also, like, switch up with the elements, um our zodiacs are in alignment with the elements. Our planets are aligned with the zodiac. So, they're all aligned in their own way. I didn't mean to fast forward so much. But yeah, so those are the 4 elements. Here at Let's Know Bias, we actually recognize the 5 elements, ether being the 5th element, and that's in alignment with Jupiter. Again, there's something called astrocartography, which is also something that I do on a personal level, because all Terra has its own natal chart. Like every city, country, state, county, whatever, wherever you live at, it has a birth date. And you can align the birth date of the area that you live in with your own personal natal chart and do like a synastry chart and see how you're aligned with the area that you live in, or the area you want to vacation to, or the area you want to visit, or area you want to move to. And also you can do it on an even larger scale and see where the planets were ascending, descending, and in midheaven, across, our globe when you were born, to see like overall. And for those of you guys who don't know the math of astronomy, every degree in astronomy is 69 miles radius on our plane. So, that's also something that I do. If you're interested in astrocartography, you can also book me for that. This is a little heliocentric model of how the planets supposedly move around the sun and how the sun supposedly moves through space. For those of you guys that I do Virgo Virgin Talk. I don't know if you guys view me on Virgo Virgin Talk, but I do that every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are live on YouTube. Virgo Virgin Talk is the name. And the last couple episodes, we got into celestial maps. Is a planet round or flat? Tomorrow, which is Saturday, we're going to get into mythical truths, where we talk about what's a myth and what's true. And I'm very excited for that episode, getting into those things with you guys and talking about, different myths. So if you have some myths or some things that are being presented as myths, but you find truth in them, please, join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. But this model is from our last episode, Celestial Maps. And the month of February, we're getting into a three-part special about aliens, which I'm very excited for. And you guys are more than welcome to be a guest or tap in the audience, whatever, what have you. I'm very excited for Virgo Virgin Talk. We'll be doing the finale in front of a live studio audience in March. So, cross my fingers, that'll be in Georgia. And I'll have more details for that in mid-February. Moving forward, so y'all know how last year I was trying to come across like the solution to like, why do we never talk about what zodiac energy Earth is in, Then last Saturday on the episode of Virgo Virgin Talk, we got into the celestial maps, and I found these beautiful diagrams that show the mindset of the sun being in certain zodiacs. So now with this model, I'm able to do better math with looking at what zodiac energy the Earth is in. So now that we currently have the sun, now wait a minute, the sun may be an Aquarius zodiac, which is the imaginary 360, 30-degree lines. That's where it's at, in our minds, where we think it should be, right? At the same token, we are still feeling the sun in Capricorn, because the sun is still in Capricorn. And I should been in Capricorn maybe like a week and a half now. 2 weeks maybe now, the sun entered Capricorn. Um, and so, we're still feeling that, and a lot of events and things going on, which is the Vedic chart is usually aligned. I mean, the Nakshatra chart is usually aligned with the Vedic chart. It's still in Capricorn as well. Yes, we entered Capricorn constellation on January 15th. So yeah, about a week and a half, 2 weeks we've been in Capricorn constellation. All right. So now that we can see that the sun is in Capricorn constellation, we go look across and see, okay, that means that Earth is in between Cancer and Gemini. And that's why the sun appears to be in Capricorn, Aquarius. Well, actually, it appears to us when we look outside in Capricorn constellation. We will see it amongst the Capricorn stars, but we think that is in Aquarius because that is the tropical chart. So we are in Cancer. Earth is in Cancer. That's interesting. And you know what? I like that because we still are in winter. So it's still, Cancer is like going into your shell, tapping into intuition, thoughts, manifesting, being around nurturing spaces that you need to, nurture those thoughts and manifestation. Also, this is a good time to tap into that third eye energy in this month as we're, our Kundalini is slowly rising and preparing us for Aries season. And for those of you guys who don't know, the sun will enter Aries zodiac energy. Our thoughts will enter Aries, the new year, on March 21st, I believe. At the same token, the sun will not enter the Aries constellation until April 15th. April 15th is when the sun enters Aries. And that's so funny because that's tax day, I think. So, stay in tune with me. That will actually be Let's Nobody's first event. It will be a New Year's event. It will be the weekend of April 15th. We're going camping. I miss being outside, and it's something about sleeping outside and being outside that's just so healing to me. And for those of you guys who have been tapped in with me, everything that's going on with my health right now, I just really need to be outside. I really need to sleep under the stars, eat some fresh fruit and vegetables for 3 days out of a fire pit. I just need that. I need that experience in and around me terribly. So I'm very excited for this April 15th event. Again, stay in alignment with me. You guys can follow me on Instagram at Let's Nobody's Business LLC. All that information at the bottom of the screen that's scrolling across. That's my website. You can subscribe to my website, become a member. I also have chat rooms on my website. All my other blogs, vlogs, my books that I write are on my website. I also have chat rooms on my website so you guys can communicate with each other, without being, censored to the point that you're censored on Facebook and all these other places. I really don't spend time censoring y'all. As long as I don't get no messages saying somebody talking loud, I don't censor y'all on my page. There's a couple people I probably should have taken the time to censor. Anyway, all that is going on the website. It's a very beautiful place to be, and I do have a calendar on my website that will keep you up to date with the different things I got going on, and I will be updating it. So yeah, that's what I got basically. Right now, Earth is in Cancer, and that's fun. So, getting into other, horoscope energies, zodiac energies. When you get into West African zodiac energy, we're in the energy of Baobab, firm, stable, strong, invincible, have the resources to conquer resistance, resilience, self-confidence, integrity, honesty, reflection, and cleverness, and live a well-structured and prosperous life. As far as native, quote unquote Native American. If any of you guys have been tuned in with Virgo Virgin Talk, you already know where I stand with that, but I'm not gonna get into that with this because this is the planetary forecast. This is not Virgo Virgin Talk, but check out our season 2 because it is really popping, y'all. We are in the zodiac of the Otter, which is started about a week ago, 7 days ago, and this is the Butterfly clan, which is air. Butterfly is air. So this is the Butterfly clan. It invites us to behave like children, demand bliss and hope, have fun, and accept the flow of life and experiences. people who have this as their natal placement, you know, strength can smooth out any circumstance. So it's just a matter of having that level of faith and knowing that. The rabbit is the Chinese New Year, our lunar New Year's, if you're going by the moon. As far as the New Year goes, Happy New Year, y'all. That started January 22nd. And, you know, actually last year, it was February 2nd, 2222, that we had our lunar New Year. This year, it's 1/22/23. That's fun. This is the energy of intuition, inner peace, patience, luck, and prosperity, and, you know, fertility, you know, abundance, all those things. Just tapping into that and learning about your own personal Chinese zodiac energy in alignment with the rabbit. See, the last couple years, oh my God. Well, actually, last year was slow. I kept running. So Chinese zodiac energy is so like wow. I don't really pay attention to it throughout the year. It doesn't come into me until hindsight, and I'm like, oh snap! It was the year of the ox. That's wild. I really was trying to live last year like it was the year. I'm trying to live every year like it's the year of the horse. Why? Because I'm a horse, and and I like to be on the move. So I'm trying to live the year of the ox like a motherfucking horse, and I'm wondering why I'm dealing with all this resistance and why all this energy is pushing me and making me sit still and move slow, and I'm just over here losing my fucking Leo rising mind. And it's because we were in the year of the slow ass ox. That's why. And I should have been sitting my ass a little bit slower. And that's my fault. I was not in alignment, basically. And that's on me. I got my lessons. So you guys don't have to like fully invest in the planetary placements over here, but I will skim through these slides. This is the root chakra. When this is a recap here, I'm not gonna have y'all for like 2 hours. I'm only trying to have y'all here for like 45 minutes, maybe. Because y'all know, you know, this gets deep. The more knowledge I give to myself, the more I want to give to you guys. So it makes the planetary forecast very involved. But again, this is just a recap. These planets are not in the space that it says that are. So the planetary placements are outdated a little bit, only by like 7 days. It's not that deep. But everything else is practically the same. Seeing the masculine and feminine side of the root chakra, you know, is located at the base of the spine. It's the energy of groundedness and discipline and order. Then I got the beautiful sound frequencies, the note that you can play. The shape is a cube, the red wavelength, long, and a vowel sound. And again, if you guys come to me for a one-on-one natal chart reading session, this is what your information is going to look like. You're going to see the planet. You're going to see the tropical placement. If you choose to include the Vedic chart and the Nakshatra chart and the Draconian chart, you will also see them next to your planet. As you can see, I have bold letters and italics and parentheses. That is the Vedic placement of that planet currently, and then the regular print is the tropical placement of that planet currently. Again, this is about 7 days outdated. I know y'all like Mercury's not in retrograde. I get it. It's not. You're right. You're absolutely right. That's why I said it's 7 days outdated. But I am going to get into where they are right now, though, since we are in the root chakra. Let's go back real quick. So pay no attention to the placements. Pay attention to my sounds. As far as the feminine side of our root chakra, we have the sun in the 6th house, we have the moon in the 6th house, we have Venus in the 6th house, and we have Saturn in the 6th house aligning with each other. And we also have the 7th house all in the Aquarius side, the feminine side of our root chakra. So that's putting our ego there. You know, we started the week with our emotions there, you know, what makes us feel good, was bringing us self-esteem. All those things is really implementing our boundaries, creating a sense of groundedness and discipline and order. We're still in the middle of winter, y'all, so this is still a great time for you to create those boundaries and stuff like that, so that when our Kundalini does rise this year, it's going to rise disciplined. Because I know, you know, it's a lot of stuff going on in the mainstream media and in Hollywood and stuff that's, encouraging people to allow their kundalini to rise lawlessly and undisciplined and without groundedness and order. And it's a lot of chaos that comes out of that people don't want to give energy to, because it creates a certain level of accountability that you have to have and say, oh, I put myself in these situations, etc., etc. That's your business. But this is the season for that order. This we're still in the winter season for you to give yourself those things. You know what I'm saying? And the beginning of this week, you may have felt that because the moon started in Aquarius, in alignment with the sun. You might have, created some more into your routine, because the sixth house deals with your health, wellness, and your daily routine. That's the Virgo house. So these are things that are applying to those spaces of your life: your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, your financial health, your business health, the health of your relationships, your health of your self relationship. All those things, things that apply to your daily life, your daily routines, how you wake up in the morning, how do you go to bed at night, the things you put in your body, not just food and beverage, but also images and sounds and things. All those things, creating some sort of groundedness and order and stuff for yourself is going to, infuse these planets and tap into these planets to do that for yourself. On the masculine side of your root chakra chart, we're dealing with Mercury, Pluto, and the sixth house. So you have, your decision-making mind, your expression, what you're talking about, what you're doing is sitting in Capricorn energy. So you're speaking that groundedness, you're speaking your boundaries, you're having conversations with these people, you're having conversations with yourself, you're having conversations with the universe, and you're creating those boundaries, you're creating those bounds, you're creating that order for yourself, and it's causing transformation for yourself. It's giving power to yourself. That's that Pluto energy. With that rebirth, with that transformation comes death. So keep in mind about that. Sixth house, again, coming back to the daily routines. So the daily routine is not also on the inside in your thoughts and emotions and what make you feel good and self-esteem and your challenges. Also that Saturn being in your root chakra, challenges, facing fears. Some of you guys are avoiding some confrontation, but if you just allow yourself to have that space, it'll open up, it's not as bad as you think it's going to be. So allow yourself to have that space. Demand that space from yourself so that it won't feel as heavy, you demanding that space from other people. When I speak to y'all on that, golly, I just started talking to myself. Oh, and just giving y'all some insight about Saturn. Saturn been in Aquarius all year. Saturn enters Pisces energy on March 9th, 2023. And that's going to be very interesting. A lot of challenges that I foresee coming into the spiritual realm, spiritual places, because Pisces energy is that sacral chakra energy. So please, 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 from here to March 9th, please work on your root chakra. Facing those challenges of your root chakra is definitely important, because when that Saturn rises to the next chakra, which is your sacral chakra, Pisces is in your sacral chakra, your pleasure-seeking center, what brings you joy, which brings you happiness, creative expression, even sensual expression. If you are not facing them challenges and creating that boundary and order and your authority, people are going to be able to easily come into your space and challenge you. Challenge what makes you feel good, this, that, and that. That's what I was saying. Like, you have to have some order for your kundalini, because once it starts to rise and you're not giving it any type of order, it's going to do whatever it wants to do. And it usually puts us in crazy places. It puts us in places that we don't want to give acknowledgement to, but it puts us in crazy places. You're arguing with people you shouldn't be arguing with. You're in relationships and friendships you shouldn't be in. They're putting you in dangerous places. You're sitting in rooms that you're not having fun with. You're not enjoying yourself. You're in drama you have no business being in. You have no business being in, but you didn't listen to your inner voice. Like, all these different things are going on. So to prevent those things, just do what you got to do now in the solitude energy while we're still in winter time. But that's what I got for you for your root chakra. I think Saturn entering Pisces is going to be very interesting, especially from a governmental standpoint and the social control standpoint, because Saturn is authority energy as well, which usually comes from, the government or a boss or the patriarch. And for that to go from, the root chakra energy, you see all this, scrambling they're doing to keep themselves in a space where we're relying on them for our root chakra needs. We need them for food and water, and relying on them on clean water and clean air and clean food and da 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 da. And a lot of us are still not putting ourselves in spaces where we're controlling our own shit. And that's also the root chakra energy. Are you controlling your own shit? Or are you allowing other people to still control it? And if you are, when that Saturn goes up to Pisces and all the stuff that you love to do and you feel joy in, and you know, get your pleasure seeking and your expression and creativity and sensual and sexual, guess what? That energy that sat up there and created your root chakra for you is going to be there to interrupt your sacral chakra, because it has the power to do so. Oh no, you can't have this joy, you can't have that expression, you can't have this, that or that, because instead of you taking over power of your space, you allow me to keep taking power. You allow me to keep providing you with food, air, water, and medicine, knowledge, all the resources that you're supposed to be giving to yourself for your root chakra. You allow me to provide it for you. So when it comes to you feeling joy, that's my say so. That's what Saturn says when it goes from Capricorn to Pisces. All right. Sacral chakra, again, this is where your being is established. You get all this information, reminding you guys, if you guys tap into my planetary forecast, from not a planetary forecast, if you guys get a natal chart reading from me, you guys will have all this information at your disposal. Starting with the feminine side, in Pisces, we have Neptune, Vesta in the 8th house. That's your, Neptune is your subconscious, your spiritual self, tapping into that higher self, that third eye energy, meditation, your dreams, and your secrets and all that stuff. Vesta is your passion, what makes you feel good. Again, we're still in winter time. It's still time for you to tap into your third eye and really ask yourself, last year you may have spent your time doing things you didn't want to do. You spent your time in spaces you didn't want to be in, around people you didn't want to be in. So tap in, meditate. What gives you joy? When do you feel the most sensual? Do you like that level of sensuality? Would you like to transform that level of sensuality? Ask yourself while you're meditating, what am I passionate about? Because when you go for what you're passionate about, in fact, check the Vesta in your personal natal chart. Go after what you're passionate about. Honestly, your subconscious is slowly leading you towards what you're passionate about already, and hopefully you're not fighting against it. Because, very often we don't see the details to the big picture, and sometimes we can't see the big picture to the details. So, the universe picks the side that we can't see for us and starts filling in that space for us. And we don't fully understand it all the time because it's not in our control. It's not, again, coming back to, if you're not, doing it, it's an energy that's going to come in and do it for you. Granted, that's not always a bad thing. But you have to pick and choose what kind of energy is going to come in and do that for you. Because in a couple weeks, we're going to have Neptune, Venus, and Saturn in the 8th house there together. And that's going to be interesting. So make sure you guys are grounded in that meditation realm, staying spiritually aligned, being in tune with your passions and stuff, because Saturn is going to come and create a bunch of challenges. It's going to make you face some fears with that stuff. You think you settled, and it's going to come and ruffle some feathers and make sure you really settled and grounded what it is that you're saying. Sagittarius still only has the 5th house. Over there, that's the masculine side of our sacral chakra. The 5th house is your inner child, your creative energy. Right now, it's time to let your inner child that have the seat talk to her, talk to them, talk to them. Ask them what they want. What do you want? What made you happy? You're literally the adult you prayed for as a child. You said, "Oh, I wish I had a twin. Oh, I wish I had an older brother. I wish I had an older sister. I wish I had a cousin like that. I wish I had a mentor like this. I wish. You wished for you. So now it's time to sit with those little bodies of self and say, hey, I'm here now. I know it took me a while. I'm sorry. But I'm here now, y'all. What's up? What we trying to do? What makes y'all happy? That's what I got for that. And then you have your solar plexus chakra, which is your power self, your self-expression, self-esteem. See, the sacral chakra is self-expression as far as joy and happiness. Oh my God, I love this so much. But the solar plexus chakra is your power voice. This is the voice when you're in the conference room You know, when you're in the interviewee seat, you know, when you're on your throne, this is that voice. All right, this is the powerful voice. And on the feminine side of your power voice, you have Jupiter, which is bringing that luck and wisdom to your power. Chiron, which is opening up insight to your wounds and how you could turn your wounds into a superpower. And you also have Juno, which is your hidden talents. I mean, Juno is your bonds with other people, your contracts and different things like that. Some of you guys are going to solidify some bonds that are going to really help you on your solar plexus chakra. Some of you guys talking about your wounds, talking about your pain and how you're healing and how you're growing and evolving through them. That's going to be powerful. That's what's going to build your throne. Some of you guys are scared to talk about things that happen to you or things you experience, and you don't even realize that's the last piece that you need to do to open up that target audience, for that target audience to see you through the algorithms of of the physical life as well as the algorithms of the virtual life. You know, you have to have these conversations. Open up. People love vulnerability for some reason. And when I speak to y'all, I'm not just speaking to y'all. I also speak to myself. I don't really talk personally about myself too much. I like to just spit knowledge. You know, that's my gate. You know, hey, y'all want to talk about some planets? We don't gotta talk about me. And then Aries. Aries is that feminine energy of Aries energy. It's that feminine new beginnings and revolting and discord and just pulling things apart. And right now it's in that Aries energy. And Chiron actually has been in Aries since September 17th, 2018. And then it came back in there in 2/8/2, which is February 18th, 2019. Chiron was in Aries, and it will be in Aries until October 19th, 2026. So you have a lot of time to open up about your wounds. You have a lot of time of transforming those wounds into your superpower, into helping you build your throne. Those things didn't happen to you, they happened for you. And you have to move with that kind of mindset. Like, you know, you're not a victim. You had to have these experiences. You had to have them. Because if you didn't have them, you wouldn't be where you're at now, doing what you're doing now. And if you're not where you want to be, then you need to start utilizing those wounds, those experiences accordingly, so that you can get to where you're supposed to be. You're not using your tools. You have a belt full of tools and you're only picking the ones that you like. It's like you have to drill something in the wall. You know, you have to drill something in the wall, but you only like to use the butter knife because the butter knife is just so safe. You know, can you drill a nail into the wall with a butter knife? Yeah, you could if it was like a really weak wall, but you'd be doing it for a whole lot longer. You got that drill over there, you know, you even got a screwdriver over there, you even have a hammer over there. Yeah, they're more dangerous, you know, it makes you more vulnerable. You can really hurt yourself, right? You can really get hurt, right? But they're more effective and they're going to get the job done better. And those were the tools. You earned those tools. You earned them. You earned them. Nobody else earned them but you. So why aren't you standing in your power with it? You know what I'm saying? That's what that's about. Aries is Aries entered Aries in 1925. Aries will remain in Aries until June 2044. You know, that's Aries is located outside of Pluto, so its orbit is way wider than Pluto, which is why it's going to be in that energy for so long. And you know, when you think about the 1920s, that feminine Aries energy, you know, sitting in, you know, Aries energy. You think about all the women revolutions and the suffrage, you know, in that era, and you know, women, you know, pioneering different realms, whether it's the artistry or politics or education or, you know, that feminine energy, not just women, just divine feminine energy, which is in all things, has really been taking the lead lately. And, you know, it's going to remain that way till 2044. Neptune. Oh, just to remind y'all, going back to the sacral chakra, Neptune entered Pisces energy February 14th, 2012, and will remain in Pisces energy until January 2026. My bad, I forgot to say that to y'all. But yeah, that's what you got in your solar plexus chakra. You have these energies here that are waiting waiting for you to start opening up and utilizing those tools as you keep calling traumatic and you were victim and they did this to you and you're crying about it and you don't even want to touch it. You don't want to open about it. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want nobody else talking about it. Da, 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 da. But those are the tools. Those are the most important tools. And it's by design that society is teaching you to be ashamed of them. You're being taught not to talk about them. When we talk about them, that backlash hurts so much because it's a blow to your solar plexus chakra. It's a blow to your fire. But you earned it. I might hit my thumb with that hammer. Fuck it. That nail's still gonna go in there better than it would have went with that butter knife though. I got the job done. Okay. On the masculine side of self, when you're dealing with all that vulnerability and the discord and disconnecting and being that revolutionary energy and tapping into your feminine energy. And my men out there too, tap into your divine feminine energy. And a lot of you guys are fathers, a lot of you guys are brothers and cousins and sons, and I really would love for you guys to have more nurturing spaces for each other so y'all can be vulnerable with each other and talk about a lot of the traumas y'all have been taught to be quiet about. I was talking to my girlfriend about that earlier. Like, I pray for more safe spaces for you men because the world is really hard on y'all to not be vulnerable, to not have a safe, like you don't deserve a safe space or something. And that's not true. You deserve a safe space. And I do hope that y'all take that Chiron energy and utilize that Chiron energy to create that safe space that you want for yourself, that you deserve, honestly. Way overdue. Masculine side of your solar plexus chakra, we just have the 4th house over there that we started the week with. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We have the 4th house over there that we started the week with. And the 4th house is that nurturing space, creating that nurturing environment, for people to be vulnerable and to feel safe in. That's important. Now we have the heart chakra here, getting into the feminine side of the heart chakra. We're dealing with that Taurus energy. Right now we have Uranus in the 9th house and the true node in the 9th house. Uranus is like that progressive energy, like keep moving forward. True node is telling you what direction you need to go in for your destiny. Your heart is leading the way. The 9th house is traveling. Philosophy, higher education, really like expanding yourself. So those two planets together are showing you, like, if you allow your heart to lead the way, it's going to guide you to your destiny. It's going to be progressive energy, expansion and knowledge. And some of you guys are going to be traveling physically with it, while some of you guys are traveling virtually. Some of you guys are traveling mentally, astral projecting. All that stuff is in y'all stars if you allow your heart to lead the way. We also have the 10th house over there. The 10th house is all about achievements, being your greatest self, tapping into your aspirations, your success. Okay. It's going to come from following your heart. Let your feelings be the guide. This is definitely a time to really just still be still. The society that we live in today teaches us that we have to be on the run all year long. And that's not true. The wintertime, you see everything is still, everything goes to sleep, everything goes inward. It's internal energy right now. It's time for you to go inward, be in tune with nature. Nature is bigger than man. Don't let this social construct that man created overpower your vibes. You are in control of you. I don't want to hear no more excuses. I'm so tired of hearing people's excuses. What about my bills? What about this? What about... So you don't have faith. You don't believe in yourself. No, I'm being realistic. No, you don't have faith. You don't believe in yourself. That's realistic. That's what's really happening here. Because a man made those rules and said you had to work. A man created bills. A man created money. A man created this Monday through Friday 9 to 5 shit. A man created these languages. A man did all those things. And I'm not saying like man, woman. I'm saying man like human created these things. So if they have the power to create those things, why don't you have the power to create those things? I don't want to hear excuses no more. I personally do not. I don't. There's people out here who live just fine without all the things that you're creating to get in your way. You're creating your own roadblocks with your mindset. You know, there's so many people in the world that you look up to, like, oh, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. You know, you're scrolling down your timeline, liking the pictures, wishing, you know, you were in their life, or not even wishing you were in their life, just admiring their life, admiring, you know, their story and what they went through and what they overcame. And, you know, their story. I slept in cars. I slept on couches. I slept outside. I slept in tents. I walked dogs for money. I did that. They did a bunch of shit you're just not willing to do. That's reality. You're not willing to do certain things to live a certain life. And that's why that life is for them. And you're living the life that you're living right now. So let your heart lead the way and tell you what it's willing to do for a life that you deserve. You have to do what's for you. You know what I'm saying? When you start doing what's for you, ain't no more fucking excuses. You're just not, they're not even gonna be good enough for you. Like, and I'm not just talking, I'm talking to me too. My excuses are not good enough for me. My excuses are not good enough. My excuses no longer make sense to me. They no longer, like, the social norms of, like, my kids gotta go to school. No, they don't. I put them out of school. I homeschool them. Oh, I gotta pay my bills. I created certain, like, you know, bonds and different things that make my bills way more affordable. I live with family. I, you know, just move, like, being in certain positions that put me in a space where it's like, it's okay if you need help. It's okay if you need support. It's okay if certain things are the way they are. Like, yeah, I have to do certain things that I would rather not do still. But overall, that I live and I'm pursuing the life that I want to have, and it's going to happen. That's for me. Those are the things that I'm willing to do for the things that I want. Now, what are you willing to do for what you want? No more excuses. Go back down to your root chakra and say, hey, you know, put a boundary up to those excuses that come in your head. You got to go back down to the root chakra if your heart chakra is still not making sense to you. On the masculine side, if you tap into that progressive energy and follow your destiny and tap into the achievements and aspirations, over here on the masculine side, as far as your experiences go, you're going to deal with Ceres, which is, you know, nurturing energy, you know, tapping into that vibe. The third house is your community. Again, being supported, you know, people making space for you and you making space for them, and also ascendant, rising. Again, like I said, if once you rise up to the heart chakra and it still don't make sense to you, you need to go back down to the root chakra and create some more boundaries and authority and rules and discipline and order for yourself. So that's what I got for you for the heart chakra. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Same placements. As far as your throat chakra, your communication goes, we have the fortune and your and the feminine side, Gemini. I'm sorry, let me start with the feminine side. We have Mars in the throat chakra, and we have the 11th house in the throat chakra. That's being your motivation, your instincts, your energy is coming from your expression, your desires is coming from, you know, you're speaking those things, you know. There's voices in your head that's telling you what you really want to do, and it's getting harder and harder for you to ignore it. I didn't mean to press that, but it's getting harder and harder for you to ignore it. You're really moving against yourself. You're still fighting yourself. Oof, oof. I hope y'all not still fighting y'all inner selves. Because, like, this is anger. This is anger. This is passion. This is what's going to make you act. This is where you should direct your ambitions, because the throat chakra is not just like, I'm talking. The throat chakra is ruled by Mercury, which is decision-making mind and patterns that you're living. I don't know if you guys have the pattern app, but I highly recommend it. If you don't, I have the pattern app personally, and I tap in not every day, but like once a month, I'll tap in and look at certain things, and I'll reflect on it in my journal, and I'll go about my life, and then I come back maybe a couple more weeks later. It depends on what spirit tells me. Hey, tap into this app, tap into that app, read this, read that, whatever. I follow that flow of things, and it always be a divine alignment. Like, oh, I really need to hear this about myself right now. I really needed that about myself right now. Thank you. But yeah, coming back to this energy, where my page go? This if you're moving against yourself right now, like with Mars being in your throat chakra, I know that shit hurt. I know you burning. I know you probably got a cold. Your sinuses is probably messed up. You probably caught something. Your chest probably hurt. Sore throat, strep throat. your tonsillitis, having to get teeth pulled, a breakout around your neck, your skin or whatever on your chest, all that stuff is from throat chakra blockage. Those are the physical effects of the throat chakra blockage. And also to remind y'all, Mars also rules over the blood marrow, your energy, your neck, your veins, genitals, red blood cells, your anal organs, and your reproductive organs. So you could be experiencing those kind of things as well. Different hiccups in those areas of your body as well, from not abiding by your throat chakra, not listening to your throat chakra. And then your 11th house. The 11th house is the purpose of your work and your humanitarian pursuits, how you are defined by your revolutionary ideas, and then broadening your reach as you define your role within society. So groups, friends, social awareness, hopes and wishes, electronic media, social justice, surprises, all those things will be coming, in your decision making. That's exciting. Now, as far as Virgo, you have your fortune and you have your second house. So your fortune being that space of, basically, it's pretty self-explanatory. Your fortune is your fortune. But your second house is your personal finances, your material possessions, your concepts of value, what makes you feel good, your self-esteem, all those kind of things is also sitting in your decision-making skills. Again, coming back to all that energy that's sitting in Pisces, which is your sacral chakra. This throat chakra energy is definitely in alignment with that, which is cool. And we can go to the third eye chakra. The third eye chakra is between your eyebrows. Now, as far as the feminine side, we deal with that Cancer energy. We start the week off with the midheaven, which is your aspirations, your achievements, your greatest self, etc., etc. We're dealing with Palace, which is, your energy about yourself that you like overlook. This is the stuff that you're good at. This is your genius qualities. This is your self-defense, your strategy. I always think of like, how do you play chess? And if you overlook how you play chess and you're not paying attention to how good you really are, if you sit and meditate and stuff, Spirit's going to tell you, yo, you're really good at this. And this is probably going to bring you success. And those thoughts might sound crazy, but you got to trust. If you're not trusting it, it's just not going to work. The 12th house is also in your third eye chakra right now. Now, the 12th house is that, like, your dreams, your secrets, your emotions, being intuitive or psychic, healing, closure, spirituality, solitude, karma, afterlife, all those things. Tapping and you have certain questions about yourself on all those spiritual levels, that's coming from tapping into your third eye. And again, some of those thoughts that might come to your mind might sound crazy, but, they're not. That's why they came to you in that moment that they came to you. You have the power of discernment, though. You know what thoughts belong to you and what don't. As far as your masculine side goes, we just have Lilith over there, which is your repressed sensuality, sexuality, vulnerabilities, and fantasies, your temper triggers, what traits you dislike in others that reflect in yourself, your primal energy, your assertive energy, and your rebellious energy. All that is coming in your masculine side, your experiences with your third eye chakra. So, you'll be able to have more intimate conversations with yourself, more intimate realizations about yourself. You'll find yourself wanting to communicate with other people's third eyes, and share that kind of knowledge with one another. And then the first house is also in your third eye chakra as well, which is the body you're born in, your physical appearance, your general temperament. It's going to show on yourself that you've really been tapping into yourself. You're not going to be able to contain it. And that's all about you, staying tapped into, yourself and solitude and being still, because we're still in the wintertime. And again, y'all know the crown chakra is like in alignment with the universe, not really one planet or zodiac energy. And this is a nice little diagram of how the planets are in alignment today. And we're about to get into the week. Also, to remind you guys, Pluto enters Aquarius March 23rd, 2023. And that's going to be very exciting to experience that level of transformation inside of such a revolutionary energy. And it's a couple weeks after Saturn enters Pisces. It's like Venus enters Pisces, and then and Venus entered Pisces on the 23rd, so it was a couple days ago. So you had that material possession and priorities and all that stuff sitting in spirit. So the things that used to make you feel good and look good and make your self-esteem rise and stuff like that, that it might not do it for you. It might be like a little transformation happening in that space because now, spirit is taking over saying, we don't want that, we don't do that. Or yes, 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 or maybe. Like those levels of, transformation is happening for you. And then right after you have Saturn entering Pisces energy. Saturn enter, that energy of challenges and authority and facing your fears and all that stuff, entering that space of spirit, with Venus and Neptune and Vesta in the 8th house of transformation. So it's like, it's forcing you to face the repercussions that come with you tapping into spirit. Like, I think that there's going to be an equal opposite energy that's going to try to attack us as spiritual people and the realms that we're trying to create for each other. And so with that being said, I say arm yourselves, not just like physical weapons and gun stuff. Yes, include that as well. But like, arm yourself with knowledge, arm your spiritual self, arm your emotional self, stay emotionally mature and in control. Because if you let yourself spill out over, that's the goal of the enemy always. And then when Pluto enters Aquarius, like that's gonna be like a major, like social energy is about to change majorly. Maybe it will be the social media blackout. Maybe it will start with something as, I won't call it catastrophic. I'll call it like a moment of relaxation and clarity. That you really are in connect. Like a lot of these people you're connected with, you have no business being connected with. It's just because social media makes you feel like you have to have all these flat followers, you have to have all these connections with people, and you have to have the most, and you have to have like 10,000 followers that get paid over here, and you have to, have 2,000 followers over here to make lives, and you have to have 10,000 followers over here to be able to create subscriptions on your space. Like, it's a lot of connections. And for those of you guys that are from the psychology realm, you deal with something called role strain, where you're playing so many roles and playing so many faces and doing so many things that you feel a sense of strain on self. And a lot of people are fulfilling avatars on these platforms so well to the point where they lose sight of self. So sometimes it's not even a strength. Sometimes it's a repression that's going on here. I would say be mindful that Pluto entering Aquarius is going to tap some masses, and that's happening around March 23rd, 2023, at 3/23/23. And then what happens is, Pluto does its 6 months retrograde. That retrograde begins May 1st, and it goes on to October 11th. So Pluto is going to enter retrograde for those 6 months. So it's going to re-enter Capricorn energy on June 11th. Pluto is going to re-enter Capricorn energy and remain in Capricorn energy for the rest of the year. And then January 2024, which is ironic because, whatever happens with this president, I don't watch the news. I don't watch none of the stuff. So like, I be hoping that people that be watching this be into with that and they write in the comments, like, oh yeah, because that's when the president, or oh yeah, I was watching on the news, because I don't do none of that. I used to do that for the planetary forecast like last year, and it was a lot, and it felt like I was doing a lot of fear mongering. That's what it felt like, especially when I would see like people's responses in the comments, and it just felt really irresponsible. And I was just like, nah, I'm not finna do this to people. Like, it makes it no better than all the like, fear inducing they do on TV already. So if you could make any parallel lines, I know for a fact that January 2020, January 24th is around the time when the new president or the same president does the inauguration thing around that time or whatever. So that's when Pluto will re-enter Aquarius energy. So again, I think there's going to be a big political thing with Pluto entering Aquarius. Some death in that, definitely. Because Pluto's about death, not always a physical body death, but a death of a lot of different things. Death is of life as we know it. So, y'all keep y'all hard hats on, because March 23, 2023 is going to be real interesting when Pluto enters Aquarius. And then that March 9, 2023, when Saturn enters Pisces, is going to be like, what the fuck? Like, healing has never been daisies and, frolicking and stuff, but like, it's definitely time to get your sword and shield, honestly. Um, so yeah, we can get started. I want to get started with January 22nd. We could just, what's today? The 27th? So we had the new moon on January 22nd. So, like, according to the Sumerian calendar always started with the new moon. So, basically, January 22nd is actually the first of the next month. That new moon was in Aquarius energy. What happened on that day was basically Venus and Saturn were in conjunction. And mind you, every time you see a conjunction, that's like another new moon phase. So that energy of self-esteem and central self and what makes you feel good and your materials and possessions and your priorities and all that. We're being challenged on this day. It's a new cycle of that challenge to those things. And then the moon was also in conjunct with Saturn. So it was like your emotions being challenged, like, a new pattern of challenges to your emotions. And then the moon and Venus were also in conjunction. So that was a new moon to that, providing transformation, a level of emotional transformation or a new emotional pattern towards your self-esteem, what makes you feel good, your priorities and your material possessions. So those three celestial bodies, did a little dance around each other on that new moon day. And then the moon and Deneb El Jodi also, hung out for a little bit. And that was another conjunction. So that's another new pattern for you, which is the energy. That star actually has the energy of Saturn and Jupiter together, which is dignified and pious and conservative. It's located in the Capricorn constellation. That's a star that's in the Capricorn constellation. So it's still giving off, that energy of like, um, building, being a leader, materializing, all those different things. So it's another cycle of that, the emotions of, your reliability, your dependability, how you lead and, materialize things and stuff like that. So a lot of new patterns occurred with that new moon. And that's cool. So that day we dealt with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 new moons happened. I mean, 5 new moons happened on that day, basically. And then Uranus was stationary on that day before it went prograde. So Uranus is officially no longer in retrograde. And then Venus entered Aquarius at 11:33 p.m. on that day as well. On January 23rd, we had the 2% waxing crescent moon. On January 24th, we had the 7% waxing crescent moon. We moved from Aquarius. Now we are in the Pisces zodiac with the moon. Sunrise was at 7:14 and it's set at 5:08 p.m. I think by the end of this month, because we get about 2-3 minutes of sunlight, probably by the end of February, the sun will probably start setting like around 5:45, 5:50. The moon and Neptune were in conjunction. Again, another new moon pattern, another new cycle pattern happening here with your emotions and your psychic self, which is very much on time because like I said, Saturn is about to enter Pisces. So that day would have been a good day for like spiritual internal reflection. I know I was sad as shit all week. And then Mercury was also at its highest sky altitude. My Mercury was high in the sky. And just reminding you guys that Mercury is in Capricorn energy at the moment. So it was assisting with creating those that sense of expression and creating new patterns and decision making skills with the groundedness coming back to your root chakra, expressing those things. You might have had to talk to somebody about some root chakra boundaries and rules and authorities that you wanted to establish and stuff like that. January 25th, we had a 14% waxing crescent moon in that Pisces zodiac energy. We were in the Cancer. At that time, Cancer constellation was opposite the sun at 4:36 a.m. So Earth was officially opposite the sun at that time. The moon in Jupiter, this is another new pattern with your emotions now into that energy of wisdom and luck and generosity and expansion and higher education. Some of you guys may have, felt a desire or, wanting to be around people or self or objects or whatever that provided that level of knowledge and wisdom and things that you felt you needed. Then in January 26th, which was yesterday, we were at the 23% waxing crescent moon in Aries zodiac energy. Now we're bringing in that new beginning. We done went through all these conjunctions and minimal angles. Now we're into the new beginnings. The asteroid 6 Hebe was at midheaven at midnight, and I was in the Cancer constellation. Because we are in the Cancer constellation, when we look up, the Cancer constellation is in our midheaven. So we're literally in the space of the third eye. So when we come back to the other planets that are in the third eye, that are in Cancer, which is the midheaven, Pallas, in the 12th house, keep it in mind that that's where we're at as well. And that's very exciting, staying in our third eye with that energy. Hebe, 6 Hebe is an asteroid. As far as like the mythological story goes, this is the daughter of Zeus and Hera, the goddess of youth, and she became the cupbearer of the gods. She married her half brother Heracles, and then Hera was upset because she was like, "Who's gonna be our cupbearer?" But this is the energy of service and domestic themes in an area of pain or abuse. If you're looking at your natal chart, this is where you will find, this is where you experience pain or abuse at. Venus and Mars is the energy of this asteroid. This house shows where one is most useful and helpful in helping others. Okay. Hebe is also the source of 40% of the meteorites we experience here on Earth, which I thought was a pretty fun fact. Sexuality and attractiveness during your puberty stage is also the energy of Hebe as well, which was very interesting that the Erykah Badu Puma thing has been all over the place. People talking about that because that was heavy Hebe energy with, that alignment, being in midheaven, and then that picture come out, and that was the discussion, is staring and sexualizing, sensualizing an 18-year-old as a 40, 30, 50-year-old man okay? And in my personal opinion, I say no, it's not. I feel like it's a time and place for everything, but I'm not going to get into that because it's the planetary forecast. Hyades cluster is also visible on the 26th, and I believe I have an image for that. This is Hebe at position. Hi, Hebe. I did have one. It's somewhere in here. It'll probably come up at the end. Let's see. Okay. This is the these are the bull horns going sideways. Okay. That is what's considered Hyades. It's actually more stars, obviously. This is a simplified, image, but then you can see like the moon passing through it and stuff. There you go. So that's how they draw the Taurus, and that's the Hyades cluster that's circled right there. And again, you notice, like, we're going to see the moon passing through that area and stuff like that. So that's the vibe. Let me go back to the slide I was on. Go back, go back. But yeah, today we have the 34% waxing crescent moon. The moon rose at 10:39 a.m. There's not really a time set for the setting of the moon. We're still in the Aries moon energy, so still in the energy of your emotions having new beginnings. And I really felt that. Like, I felt really good today. Like, yesterday, I felt like super duper sad. Like, oh my God, I'm here. But then today, when I woke up, I was like, nah, fuck that. I feel great. I feel brand new. The sun rose at 7:12 a.m. and it set at 5:12 p.m. And then the International Space Station was actually visible. Oh, here it is. This is a little sideline for the International Space Station in that first image. you know, and it was visible from 5:54 p.m. to 6:01 p.m. and then again at 7:31 p.m. to 7:33 p.m. And just to remind y'all, the energy of the waxing crescent moon is actually the moon of regeneration. And this is a time where positive changes take form. This is the first phase after the new moon, and we're going to sort through confusing emotions. I told y'all feeling crazy earlier this week. Set your mind to goals, manifest your intentions and your mindset. And if you guys want to get into like having crystals on your body or your space altar, ruby, citron, malachite, aventurine, carnelian, rose quartz, and bergamot. Those are good things to have on your altar when we're in the waxing crescent moon energy. January 28th, which is tomorrow, we'll be at a 45% waxing crescent moon. It's going to rise at 11:04 a.m. and then it's going to set at 2:15 p.m. No, it's going to set at 2:15 a.m. And we're going to enter the Taurus zodiac energy. The sun is going to rise at 7:11 a.m. and it's going to set at 5:13 p.m. The first quarter of the moon is going to rise at 10:20 a.m. So like the phases of the moon is changing nonstop. Like there's never a time where the moon phase. So just because when I tell y'all we had a 45% waxing crescent moon, I'm going by midnight. The day starts at midnight. 12 o'clock is 12 a.m. That's a new day. So at 12 o'clock a.m., we're at a 45% waxing crescent moon. But by 10:20 a.m., we'll be at a first quarter moon. So by the time the moon rises at 11:04 a.m., we will be at the first quarter. It'll be a little bit bigger than a first quarter moon, but it will be a first quarter moon rising. You know what I'm saying? So just in case, because we call people getting confused about that. But that is the moon of caution. All right. Take action, may deal with doubt, discouragement, hurdles to keep you from moving forward to your goals. Accept it as a part of the journey and manifest productive, positive thoughts. And citron and carnelian, which are really good uplifting stones, if you align that with maybe wear the color yellow, be around some yellow stuff. Wear the color orange as well, be around some orange stuff. And rosemary. Those are good things to have on your body and your space altar around that time. Highly recommended during a time where we're around a first quarter moon and things start to get a little shaky for you. And then the moon will also be on its ascending node, so it'll be rising. The International Space Station will be visible from 6:43 p.m. to 6:47 p.m. January 29th. Let's see what I got for January 29th. Also on January 28th, the moon and Uranus will be hanging out together as well. Because oh no, we are in the Taurus. At that time, we'll be in the Taurus constellation and in the Taurus zodiac. So that's cool. And then the moon in the first quarter will be hanging around Uranus, which is pretty cool. And then on the 29th, let's get into it. We'll be at a 55% waxing gibbous moon. All right. So now we switched it up. With the moon phase, we're moving out of that moon of discouragement, and you made it. And now we're moving into the moon of endings. Okay, you're going to start to see the results of your work, the tangible results after your first quartered out. You may feel achievements, but you're still not quite there yet. So just keep moving. Tiger's eye, citron, dumortierite, and jasmine are good things to have on your space and body altar. The moon and Uranus will be at minimal angle. Again, another new moon, another cycle happening with that progressive energy, that making change energy. This is the innovative energy that pushes you to do new things, individuality, see truth and try innovative approaches to things. So, some problem solving might come through with this. You had that doubt, you had that challenge energy on the day before the day. And then if you guys are air signs, you probably had it 2 or 3 days before. And now we're in a space of, okay, it's problem solving time. But that's going to occur at 12:02 a.m. The moon will be 0.6 degrees north-northwest. And then the conjunction is going to occur at 12:36 a.m. with the moon 0.7 degrees north. Occultation is going to be visible from, if you're in Canada or Alaska or Greenland, it'll be visible to you the day before, actually, on 128, and that's pretty cool. Acellus Australis will be opposite the sun at 1:17 a.m. So Acellus Australis is the second brightest object in the Cancer constellation. Is located actually on the shell of the crab, and you can see that in the second image that I have on the screen. This is the electromagnetic energy of Mars and Sun combined. So you got that ego centric energy, as well as that aggressive, assertive, new beginning energy. Heroic, courageous, defiant, warlike. It could be danger to the eyes, you know. So if you guys wear glasses or contacts, I wouldn't suggest getting any type of eye type of anything done on this day. Care and responsibility. And then when it's dim in the sky, it indicates rain. For those that used to utilize this star to detect weather. And again, like I said, avoid any surgery near the eyes around this time. But that's what we have, and it's going to be opposite the sun. And then the International Space Station will be visible 5:54 p.m. to 6 p.m. and 7:31 p.m. to 7:33 p.m. So you'll be able to wave hi to the homies in the skies. Then January 30th, now we're at 65% that waxing gibbous moon. I'm still in problem solving state. The moon is going to rise at 12:04 p.m. and then it's going to set at 2:27 a.m. in that Taurus constellation, no, Taurus zodiac energy. The sun will rise at 7:10 a.m. and it's going to set at 5:10 p.m. There will be a a.m. visibility of the moon, so you'll be able to see the moon in the daytime on this day. The moon and Pleiades will be in conjunction at 4:02 a.m. So again, another new moon cycle. Got a lot of new moon cycles happening. That's the moon will be 2.9 degrees south, minimal angle at 4:47 a.m. The moon will be 2.9 degrees south, and we'll be able to observe that at 2:07 a.m. with a 3.3 south southwest separation. And this is just the energy of like, how are you coping with the sorrows of things? I would really utilize that time, you know, that space of energy if your dreams don't do it for you because you're, you know, in a deep sleep at 2 a.m. But using that time and space to really tap into your Chiron, like I told y'all in that solar plexus chart, like really utilizing your wounds and stuff and learning how to transform them into a superpower, you know, learning that those aren't things to make you a victim, but those are the tools that you need to get through the things you need to get through today. A lot of you guys had hard lives, and now you're out here creating safe spaces for people. You want to be, you know, a community revolutionary. You want to be a historic revolutionary. You want to be, you know, all these things. Well, that takes tough skin. That takes tough skin. It takes resilience. It takes, you know, a certain level of immunity from emotional, spiritual, and physical harm. So you had to go through the abuses that you went through. And when I say this to y'all, I'm speaking to myself too. I was abused when I was a child. And yeah, I victimized myself for a minute. You know, honestly, I victimized myself, but it wasn't my intention. My intention was I ain't nobody victim. And I would just walk around angry. And I was an angry soul for a very long time. And I'm still kind of angry. It's just I'm more aware of my anger now and I direct it where it needs to go. And so that puts me in a good space. I get so angry that I want y'all to know stuff, that I'll get on these platforms and I'll talk my talk. And I'm very resilient about it and I don't care. I don't care. You know, my emotions are resilient to where somebody comments something on it or somebody say something crazy to me or whatever, I don't care, bro. You know, it's people in my life that I was taught to respect and taught that these are the people that's supposed to raise me, or these are supposed to be, and those were the ones that abused me, or those are the ones that turned the blind eye to abuse. So you think somebody sitting behind a keyboard can do something to me? No, you can't. You can't do nothing to me. There's nothing you can do to me. You know what I mean? That and that's how you turn something that happened to you into a superpower. That's how you do that. May not be entirely foolproof. You know, I'm still learning the details of it. I'm just giving y'all a generalized statement for time's sake. But you know, essentially, like that's what it is. You know. But yeah, coming back to the planets. Pallades is all about just how you deal with sorrow. I really would tap into my Chiron with that energy if you could. You know, learn how you've been coping with that sorrow and ask yourself, is there a more constructive way, a more productive way to, you know, cope with it? You know, how are you dealing with it? How are you holding it? How is it holding you? Mercury will be the longest angular distance from the sun at 12:42 a.m. Mercury will be 25 degrees west southwest, and it'll be best seen at 48 a.m. with a 9 southeast separation. So it'll be creating a nice little obtuse triangle around us, and that's pretty cool. The International Space Station will be visible from 6:42 p.m. to 6:47 p.m. 9:06 McColl's is actually a comet, and at 9:14 p.m. it'll be the smallest distance to the sun, and then at 9:43 p.m. it'll be at its max brightness, and it's located in the constellation Microscopium, which is Exactly what it sounds like, the microscopic constellation. January 31st, we'll be at a 74 waxing gibbous moon, still in that problem solving state. Please meditate, meditate, meditate. Um, it will rise at 12:41 p.m. and set at 3:31 a.m. And now we are entering the Gemini zodiac energy. The sun is going to rise at 7:09 p.m. and then it's going to set at 5:16 p.m. The moon and Mars will be at minimal angle. Again, another new moon energy. That Mars assertive, aggressive, new beginning energy is going to happen in the space of your community because the moon is in Gemini and Mars is in Gemini. Um, this will be at 12:54 a.m. The moon is zero point 0.4 degrees south. Conjunction will occur at 12:48 a.m. So be on the lookout for that. The moon and Aldebaran will be in conjunction. Oh, that's the comment in the image. Yes, but the moon and Aldebaran will be in conjunction at 3:05 a.m. The moon will be 7.8 degrees north. For those of you guys who don't know, Aldebaran is actually the brightest star in Taurus. It's located in the eye of Taurus. This is the energy of the follower because it follows behind the Pleiades sisters. This gives off the energy of Mars. It's also a red star, so the moon might be red, and then it might be big and red because the moon is coming into like its ascending mode, so it might be nice, big, and red. Uh, this is the energy of honor, intelligence, courage, the beginning of a large political undertaking. Again, I'm telling y'all, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, because that Saturn is entering Pisces 9 days away after the 31st, you know. So with that moon entering Aldebaran, you know, a lot of these political people and these Hollywood people and stuff, they have astrologists. They're in tune with the stars. A lot of the little things, little funny things they do is definitely in alignment. For those of you guys who don't know what's going on in the stars, it's easy to fall into it. But yeah, it's a good time to pursue business too. For those of you guys that really tapped into that waxing gibbous moon of problem solving. So that's what's happening. The 96 p.m. McCalls, which is the comet I was talking about, is going to be at the smallest distance to the Earth at 5:19 a.m. So if you have a telescope, you might be able to catch that comet. It's nice little green action going on. Mercury and Albalda, again, another new moon, but this new moon is actually with Mercury and not with the actual moon this time. So it's with your decision making. This is a new pattern in your life. The pattern in Albalda will have minimal angle at 7:58 a.m. Mercury will be zero point 0.7 degrees south, and conjunction will be at 8:29 a.m. Mercury will be zero point 0.7 degrees. You'll be able to observe that at 6:18 a.m. And it's cool that your pattern mind, that Mercury energy will, you know, have that new moon energy because one, this is the last day of the month. You know, two, the moon and Mars is having their new moon, and we know Mars is the Aries energy of new beginnings. Um, you know, it's just, and then three, the wax and gibbous moon of problem solving. So at this point in time, you can utilize that problem solving energy of, you know, the moon and apply it to that decision making, you know, new pattern that you're going to make. And for those of you guys who don't know, Albalda is actually the star in Sagittarius constellation. It's located at the back of the head of the Archer, and it's the energy of harvest, gain, building, and travelers. So some of you guys might be, you know, creating, you know, new patterns or decision making mind or expression and traveling. So y'all must be like, you know, me personally, I'm getting my passport. I'm finna be out. I need to be in somebody's warm water so I can finish healing my body and my soul and my mind. You know, I've been, you know, building with people and organizing with people. That's been a thing too. All those things, you know, in alignment, you know, that's just me making parallels. You make the parallels that you wish to seek in your world. The International Space Station will be visible from 5:53 p.m. to 6:01 p.m. and then 7:30 p.m. to 7:33 p.m. And then there's another comet, which is ZTFC 2022 E3, will reach its max brightness at 7:20 p.m. And comets are just leftover elements from the formation of the solar system. So, you know, if you can get a piece of a comet, it really tells the story of, you know, the how the solar system was formed. It has all this debris from the earlier formations, the earlier terras and celestial bodies and things. And, you know, when it's going over our sky, it's like, you know, an influence of overwhelming thoughts or innovative thoughts, but also sometimes a blast from the past if you need it, if you need to tap into it in that way. Some of us need to go back and move forward, right? And then Persepi is a beehive open cluster that will be in midheaven at midnight, and it will culminate 4 minutes earlier each day after. So if you want to, keep in alignment with Persephone for those of you guys who utilize, telescope. I can't wait to get mine. I'm gonna have, personal pictures that I took on my planetary forecast. I'm just gonna keep expanding with this. Persephone is what is the head of the crab, because mind you, Earth is in the Cancer constellation. So Persephone is located at the head of the crab. It rules the right eye. This is the energy of Mars and the moons, that new beginning with your emotions. But it also is the energy of disease, disgrace, adventure, brutality, and the spirit of the ancestors. Because like the head of the crab is like, it's like a sunken place. When you think about an actual crab, this is like the visual outward, right? And so it's just like, crabs always move with their claws first, because that outlook is always like, yo, who won war? Who trying to eat me? And what am I trying to eat? And that's where a lot of that brutality and, that brutal energy comes from, because they don't care. Claws first always. And so that's, leading up to the end of January. And then you can see on the screen, from 29th to 31st, the path of the moon, how the moon is going through Taurus energy. It goes in between, the Hyades of, Taurus. This is let me make my screen a little bit bigger. I'm over here squinting for no reason. This is the path of the asteroid Hebe 6. So you see the line going across the sky. That's, that's its direction. The beehive cluster that I spoke on, in the Cancer constellation, that's what it will look like. It's actually located at the waist, and that's Persephone. That's the cluster that I was just talking about. That'll be at midheaven, and then it'll just keep rising 4 minutes earlier and earlier each day. So to see that. Oh yeah, on January 25th, which was a couple days ago, you had like a nice little dance with the moon and Jupiter and Juno, bring your emotions towards, your wisdom and stuff like that. And if you're not in alignment with your Jupiter energy, on your natal chart, or your Juno energy on your natal chart, it might have been a big of a tug of war with that, being emotionally like invoked on a negative level. Again, we started the week with the crescent moon with Venus and Saturn, your emotions and your challenges, your emotions being challenged. That was Uranus being stationary prior to its prograde motion on the ecliptic. So now, we're moving into more and more prograde planets, more and more planets, moving forward. More things on the Monday. We started the week with the moon and Saturn. Tuesday with the crescent moon, we're passing through Neptune and Vesta, your spirit and your passions. That's a whole thing in itself. Yeah, so you got the close encounter of the moon and Neptune, and then Neptune and Vesta. So, your emotions being in alignment with, you tapping into your subconscious, you tapping into meditating your spirit. And, Vesta is the asteroid of passion, your Vestral fire. What is that fire that's burning inside of you that gives you the same satisfaction as sexual energy? When you're not having sex, what gives you that same, invocation? That's the Vesta energy of self. And I talked about that like a couple months ago, like especially in like November, December, the men do the no nut November thing. And I was saying, you guys got to know where your Vesta is in your chart if you're going to be, if you're, it'll help when you're trying to do celibacy, or you're trying to be abstinent, or you go on a sex fast, because your Vesta in your natal chart is going to tell you where you can spend that energy to get the same satisfaction if you don't want to engage in an actual act of sex. Sex is a creative energy. So more than likely it's going to be some level of creating something, making something, forming something. So, my Vesta is in Gemini. So, communicating like what I'm doing now, sitting here talking to y'all, and being in social spaces and doing things for my community, how y'all see me doing multiple things at one time. My Mars is also in Gemini. So being tapped into that, more like, assertive energy of self, that's why I've been telling people don't argue with me, because it's actually kind of fun. Like it give you the same satisfaction. Don't do it. But I don't really like to argue with nobody no more. What? No, I do like to argue with people. I repress the action of arguing with people because I'm tired. I put that vested energy elsewhere into actual like regular, mature, neutral, you know, communication. But just me giving y'all an example, with my personal alignments with self. You know. If you guys want a natal reading again, y'all can reach out. I do tropical, Vedic, nakshatras, and the draconic. I also do new name readings, numerology, geometria. I'll read your birth date and all those different things. All you gotta do is subscribe. Let'sNobody'sCollection.com. All that information at the bottom is how you can reach out to me if you need a personal reading done. I do it for groups. I do it for families, couples. If you want to see the natal chart of somebody in your ancestor of yours and you want to see that alignment between that ancestor and yourself, your own synastry charts with your own selves, your synastry chart with the neighborhood you live in, the country you live in, all that stuff. I can do all that. This is a nice, overview of the sky. It looks like a whole bunch of little giants just chilling in the sky. And that's pretty cool. I think Pegasus is like the most obnoxious out of all of them. January 26th, again, coming back to the slide I was searching for, but you'll see the Hyades cluster, which is, coming through the Taurus bullhorns. And I think at that time, the moon will be a little bit above them. It won't be in between the bullhorns yet from that image we saw earlier. This is how the moon was over the weekend leading up to like Tuesday-ish. It was rising. And the half moon around Uranus, giving us those emotions. That's what we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to be going through tomorrow, is that moon of doubt and that progressive energy and changing the stuff. We got to really have certain conversations with ourselves, and that self-doubt we keep putting on our electromagnetic field that's really getting in our way, but we're not giving it credit. It's, call those sounds out and tell them they have no power here. Let it be known that those sounds don't belong to you. Otherwise, you're going to be consumed by them. And when I talk to y'all, please don't think I'm not talking to myself, because I am. I am a Virgo Stellar. That's all I do is think, y'all. It's literally all the I do. I have to, I even think thoughts that don't belong to me, and I have to tell them, you guys don't belong here. You have to go. You have to go. Especially when y'all come through with that crazy stuff, like you gotta go. But yeah, it's a nice emotional expansion, innovative energy. You might even get an aha moment, to heal some things in your space, January 30th, this is the obtuse triangle we'll have popping off with Mercury, being at its greatest western elongation from the sun. I don't know why this looks like the upside down to me so hard. And then the bright moon will be, underneath Mars. Like I told you, this moon is going to be big and a little orangey for us on that day. At least starting off, it will be. And as it moves further and further away from Mars, it will, come back to its regular, like, 50 shades of gray. But again, another, energy, another, like, new pattern type space, those new beginnings on your emotions. Isn't that exciting? Like, after you, what is it? After you go through this, we got something to look forward to. A new beginning, and like what is it? Like you unlocked a new level for yourself. But you gotta remind yourself when new beginnings comes ending. So you gotta be prepared and allow yourself to be okay with letting go of the people, places, and things that you have to let go of. And you can't receive with closed hands. You can't receive with closed hands. So if you're clenching your fist to hold on to some people, places, and things and dragging them with you, it's kind of hard for you to be open to receiving. You shouldn't be dragging people, places, and things. Like if they want to come with you, they should be alongside of you. They should be flowing with you. not being dragged and your hands being closed so you can't get your blessings. You're just knocking into their karma with your body because I'm pretty sure since you're dragging them, your body is coming first. So you're running into your karma and their karma. And it's probably karma. Both of them is probably karma that wouldn't belong to you had you just let go. So open up your hands. This is the stars of the Crab constellation. This is the constellation that we are currently in right now, planet Earth. These are the stars. The Cancer constellation is not a very safe one. It's because with Cancer, you're more so dealing with the outside of the crab. You're dealing with the shell. And when you think about the shell of the crab is what receives all the beatings, all the beat downs and all those different things like that. So it's actually the inside of the shell that gets that's where the mushy happens, the softness and the vulnerability and the intuition and the discernment and the judgment and all that stuff is happening on the inside. On the outside is getting, pecked at by birds and, washed by harsh water and sand and the sun and, all the sand flies and a bunch of stuff trying to eat it and pick through the shell and then humans trying to boil it. And it's just a lot going on that outer shell. That outer shell is a shield. And so that's why when we're in the constellation, it feels like we're dealing with a lot of beat, 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 because we're on the outside of the shell, not necessarily on the inside. And we have reached the end of the PowerPoint presentation. I thank you guys for tapping into this planetary forecast. Even though I tried to make it 45 minutes, it ended up being 90. And you know what? I am not mad. I have information and I just love to share it with y'all. And I hope that you guys got the information you needed. And for those of you guys who are just now tapping in, please head on over to YouTube. Less Nobodies is the YouTube page, and you can tap into this full video. Or you can go over to my Facebook, Sunshine Monet L, as it is written below my beautiful face. And you guys can tap into that video from the beginning once it's done progressing and loading and all those different things. For those of you guys who love my jewelry and love what I do, or if you would like a natal reading, you can use this code NOBODIES, NOBODIES, on my website, lessnobodiescollection.com, and you will receive $11 off any products on our website. Also, remember, I do cosmic coins on my website as well. So just by you subscribing to my website, you get 50 cosmic coins. To get 100, once you reach 100 cosmic coins, you start receiving 10% off for every 100 cosmic coins, and you get 50 just for subscribing. You get 1 cosmic coin for every dollar spent. So it's very easy to get to 100. It's very easy to get that 10% off. I do, and I work with you. If you guys want custom orders, I do 50% deposit, 50% once it's done, all the different stuff. Also with the natal charts as well. So that's what I have for you guys. I appreciate y'all tapping in. This was fun. I enjoyed being here. I am super sleepy. But yeah, peace, y'all.